Welcome, everybody, to this afternoon's edition of Dave Stelma and within the Creating Successful Coaches site also. I have a very special guest, and we had to coordinate this so it would come in the afternoon because, we don't all work on Dave's time frame. So this afternoon, I got Dorothy Holtermann, who is the book, I'll call her the book expert extraordinaire because she's done it. It's not one of these people that has gone out there and just like wrote down and made a little course and all that. She's done it. She will tell you, she will guide you through all the steps as how to get an Amazon bestseller. And really there's a system to this. And she is just excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm just going to stop right there. And Dorothy, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
There you go.
I'm so happy to be here. My name is Dorothy Holtermann, and I'm the founder of Birth the Book. And I teach coaches and wellness professionals how to write and self-publish their career-enhancing books. So I created a whole system that I've been teaching in Manhattan and in other parts of New York City for a couple of years. But I have just completed my first online version of Birth the Book. And I'm going to be launching that again in a few weeks. Yeah. So I'm happy to come on board and talk to you about the system I use.
And like I said, it's very, very cool because you have done it. You have gone.
Yes, I have. I even have my book.
Right there.
My book was Love Food That Loves You Back. And the story with that, my story was for years I was an attorney in Lower Manhattan and a community leader. Then I became a business executive. And then I had that kind of proverbial crash and burn. My family got displaced from 9/11. Several of us got sick. And basically, my law practice was there, and I just did not have the energy or any desire whatsoever to start over with a law practice. So after I lost kind of everything, I decided that, at some point I had to get my health back. So I did this long, 2-year, 3-year journey to get my own health back. And I realized the only thing that really called to me to do was to become a nutrition health coach. But I was kind of used to a good income, and I didn't know how I would survive on the amount of earnings. So I decided that I would write a book so I could increase my profile and get, just expand my business. And so I didn't have much money. So I took a course online for, $9.95, which was a lot of money for me at the time. And I just found it so, I credit it for helping me to get the book accomplished. But I had to go outside of that book and get so much additional help. And I think they sent me on a lot of incorrect directions, but the book got published and it accomplished so much more. I mean, I kind of went in with this idea, $5 business card, but when I started to write the book, a lot more came out than that. So it really helped me self-actualize. And suddenly I'm getting calls from health grades. Would I be a video expert for them? I'm getting calls from institutions. One of my favorite ones is I got a call from a convent filled with octogenarian nuns, and they wanted to know, did I want to become the convent health coach? And I took the job because I was one of those few kids that went to Catholic school that actually loved all the nuns. I was a little kind of brown-nosed good student. So that was an adventure I never expected. I was asked to be on a movie, and just my life became just so rich and interesting, and my income went up so much. So a local my yoga studio asked me, Dorothy, would you consider teaching people how to write and self-publish books, because they all observed this transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't thought about it, but I thought that would be, a really fun challenge. So I got the idea of Birth a Book, because one of the things that I realized I suffered with so much was the whole imposter syndrome and feelings of unworthiness. And it took me a long time after success to actually be comfortable in stepping into my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned it on its ear, and right from the day one, a person entering my class is a published author. So I teach them how to act if I understand how transformation works. So I know there's a part of our brain that wants us to share. It's evolutionary. You learn something. The next thing you know, you feel really compelled. How do I share this? And it's, very simple. Like if you think about human growth and development, like if you learn there's a safe place to cross the river, you want to tell the rest of the tribe, this is where you should cross the river. You don't hold it back. So it's the same when we start to develop information that we know others need to enjoy for their own life. But at the same time, in the other part of our brain, the old lizard part, starts to say, who are you to step out? Who are you to tell people to do things differently? And it creates this horrific conflict whenever we want to do anything big or outside our comfort zone. So I come from a health coach perspective with all of this. So while I'm teaching people how to write and publish books, I'm kind of very sneakily, working on their health, wellness, confidence. So at the end of the process, they're more than successful about becoming published authors, Amazon.com bestsellers, but they're in their shoes and they're heading in the direction that they want their life to go. So I'm very proud of the course. I really am.
Yeah. And it's a really great course to take. Oh, we're echoing a little bit, but that'll even out. It's a great course because it's not a quick fix course. There's so many of these out there right now, and I get bombarded by emails just like everybody else does. And there's those quick fix courses that are out there that are going to be, do these few tricks, and then you're going to, you can have an Amazon bestseller and all this stuff. But there really is a system that you put into place. Let's break down some of these things. Amazon. Tell us just kind of briefly, the workings of Amazon, because there's categories, there's all this stuff. And so, if I came on and I said, I'm going to write a book and the title's going to be, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, well, good. That's a great title for me to demonstrate. The Amazon can be this miracle of specificity, or it could be a jungle that you are forever lost on. So creating a book, I'm a nice guy, unless there's a lot of people searching for how to be a nice guy, is just going to be one of those courses that are, books that are going to be absolutely buried. So we have parts of what's wonderful about Amazon that people don't realize. Amazon is also one of the most powerful search engines out there. So I have people, first of all, before we get to Amazon, we've done a lot of work setting up a foundation. What is lighting you up to share? Who is out there with this top of mind problem? So you're trying to connect what lights you up to what will light somebody out there up. And you start to get very specific, and you start to communicate with them and find out what is the language they are using. So we do some of that basic research. Then you start taking a look. I mean, I start making everybody look at Amazon, in the beginning, not at the end, because you want to find what other books are out there. You want to find model books. One of the tricks I have is you want to read the reviews of similar books. You don't want to read only the 5 stars, because that's everybody's friends and all your launch teams. And you don't want to read the 1 star, because those are just crazy, cranky people. I don't know what those 1 star people are about, but pray for them. You want to look at the 3 and 4 star and see, what they wish there was more of, so that maybe you can find a nice little sweet spot niche, or not create another book with a similar problem. So all of that is in my phase called establishing a foundation. We spend a lot of time on the foundation, because I think that's the part everybody skips. They want to just go into like quickie content, press the publish button, and basically you're just left with a book that's like, not going to make you proud, and really not going to impress anybody who reads it to work with you. So, this is important. And, sometimes I have people who come into the course crystal clear about where they want their life to go, and others are really foggy. So it's a great way to spend the time getting really crystal clear about where do you want your life to go. Because if you're foggy about that, I have met so many authors who wrote the wrong book because they really weren't clear about where they wanted their life to go. And to me, that's the most important reason to write a book, is that not only do you want to serve the people you're meant to serve, and keeping your eyes on that ball really keeps your momentum going, because it's not then all you, and you get all flustered and, self-conscious. So you keep the eye on how you want to serve people, for sure. But you want to see, who do I want to be at the end? Yeah. How do I want to serve them?
So
what's
the end game to it?
That's like the phase 1. And that the phase 1 sets us up for content creation, which is usually where everybody starts. And then phase 3 is all the fun part about launching and reviews and getting, influencers, public relations, because the doesn't stop when you press the publish button. The whole other adventure starts. So I try to get everybody thinking about that long before public relations comes up, because by then you're kind of tired. Maybe there are a lot of decisions that you needed to make a couple of months earlier. Oftentimes I work with authors, they publish, then they start to think about public relations. Well, you might have gotten into a wonderful magazine or get an interview that takes 3 or 4 months before you can be considered. So starting a lot of this early makes a huge difference.
Yeah, very much. And you so you walk them through that system. So the first thing is mindset, correct?
Yeah, but we don't talk a lot about that. I just do it. So we start off like everybody.
But I mean, that's really what you're going to take them through. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So when people come to class, they start introducing themselves as a published author with it, and then we move quickly to having them work on a working title, and so then they start introducing themselves as a published author of. So they get real easy talking about it. And I have an actress come on board and help them do their pitch with their log line. So, actors use log line to describe a movie. So they start to get really comfortable, not only as they're getting clearer about what their book is, the title, but the why they're writing it and who is it for, and getting it really, really narrow, so they start getting really comfortable when they see friends to tell them what they're doing, ask for help. Everybody needs launch partners. And, clearly when you go to ask for, interviews and whatever, you want that really early on.
There was another, I won't mention names, but there is another person within the Facebook community that has a system that he teaches that is you just friend a lot of people, you're up close to your 5,000 people on your Facebook page, and then you just start telling them about your book, and then they're just going to share it out to all their friends, and then you're going to get a big bestseller that way. And then I can write my book that says, I'm a nice guy, and then they'll just all buy the book, right?
No, it's not that, but that could be a piece of it. I'm not saying that that's not a little piece of it. You want to have friends on Facebook, but it's much more. It's much better if you're writing a book for solo entrepreneurs. It's much better that you join a group that's very targeted for that.
Right.
And you just learn how to talk from your heart about what you're doing, and make real connections. Even the book, I like to talk about the book being a conversation to one person, because it's very difficult for solo entrepreneurs, business owners, authors to just really hone in that it's a connection, it's a conversation to one person.
Mm-hmm.
And to really use that to curate your stories and your content. So if you find that one person, try to tell them a story that's going in your book. And if you see their eyes are starting to glaze over, they're not asking any questions, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
We all know those conversations.
Yep.
That you're all excited about.
Yeah.
Other person is waiting for their turn to talk about something else, or vice versa. People are really excited to ask you something, but you don't really want to share that anymore.
Yeah, you got to have that connection.
Yeah.
Target audience. So how do you have them determine? So let's go back to I wrote this book. I'm a nice guy. I come to you now and I go, Dorothy, I heard a lot of great things about you from Dave. Yeah, I talk to myself as in a third person. And he told me a lot of great things about you. And I wrote this book already. Tell me what to do with it.
Well, I hate when that happens. Because
that's the worst case scenario.
Scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, ordinarily, we can repurpose a lot of it. What I have them actually do, though, is all the exercises as if they didn't write the book yet, and then have them reevaluate their own content to see if it's meeting all the criterion that's going to give them this life-changing. I mean, writing a book, that's like a big deal. People are going to be impressed even with if you write a crappy book, to be honest.
It's like the birthing process.
It is. It's a big deal. It should be life-changing, but it should be life-changing in a direction that you're choosing. Yeah. It will still be filled with all miracles and, different things, but you will be playing in a different playing field.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
You're going to have to put all this time and effort into it, so you might as well do it the right way.
Absolutely.
Honestly, and have something that you can or get some money from, as well as use it to perpetuate any other part of your career that you want to.
One of the things that I loved, because I used to always do free talks, and what was wonderful is once I published a book, Amazon will let you purchase your own book for a few dollars, like it's an author discount, so $2.35, whatever. So I would go with maybe, 20, 30 books for a little group. And 90% of the people, if you give them a free talk, they're going to buy your book at the end.
Sure.
So suddenly a free talk, might result in $200-300 of revenue. So now, okay, it wasn't that bad that I did this free talk, because on top of that, I would almost inevitably get 4 or 5 clients as well. And this is really important, all the emails of the people that are there.
Yeah.
So, and any group, you could, please, it's so easy to find groups that you call and say, oh, I've just published a book, can I come and talk to your group? I mean, they're so happy to have you on board. We have hundreds of ideas in the class of ways that you can use the book, even in just the simplest way that will propel your career forward.
Yeah. That's a great story for that one too, because a lot of people think that it's just they don't, like you said before, they don't think of anything beyond, I published the book, now I got to do some marketing, and some people come from the idea of that you publish the book and whoo, now I'm going to be on the New York Times bestsellers list. I'm going to be an Amazon bestseller. I'm going to do, it's just going to take off just on its own because you feel so strongly about it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more than that.
Takes more than that. Yeah.
And a lot of authors hate that. But I find that entrepreneurs are better at that. People who are just writing, I have a lot of different people in the community. So my entrepreneurs get that there needs to be a beyond the book strategy. And I love working with them. But I have people who are just creatives, who just want to tell their story. Mm-hmm. One woman, she lost her husband and then a few years later lost her son. And it was so tragic. And she just wanted this story to be told. And she's just using her book, in a beautiful way. She brings it to different churches and she, talks to people who've just had tragic losses about how they can heal, that there will be life after this. And it was beautiful to help her. She had no desire to be an entrepreneur or whatever. It didn't matter. The system worked fine with her. I had a woman, Bridget Davies, who wrote this love poem to her autistic son. And she just always wanted to publish that. And she was also an artist. So I helped her publish a beautiful book filled with her art and this poem, and her dream came true. Now, interestingly, after that, she's come back to the community because she decided now she wants to create a series of children's book for families with autistic children, because she feels all of the books available doesn't show life the way it is in a home with an autistic child. And it just makes them feel like their home is weird or,
Right.
But she's doing something that she wants to actually earn revenue from as well.
Nice. Do you think that came out of from taking your course, from getting through that first one?
Absolutely. That now because once you do one, a lot of people then want to do another one.
Because you have a system.
I'm doing another one.
Yeah, because you teach them the process, the system that's to it.
And they do come back to class.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you?
I like the group class because then everybody starts to support each other and you kind of get a built-in launch team.
Sure.
I don't make it tit for tat because that's against Amazon's rules, but it just naturally forms.
Yeah.
These relationships between authors. And I'm actually creating now something new out of the online course so the course is 8 weeks, but then I'm doing live coaching for several months after that so that it will encompass 6 months because it takes people a while and I want them to have access to me beyond just a Facebook page. The Facebook page is a game. So I'm calling it Ask Me Anything Birth of a Community. And I'm letting people who go through the course, they get free access to it for their period of their active course, but then they can enroll for a price I haven't figured out, but it's not going to be for a lot of money. So what I got so upset when I wrote my book, this was a 3-month course. After that, I had a Facebook page. It was not enough support for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want everybody, I mean, it's really important to me that I get people over the goal line. One of my biggest incentives is I read the statistics that 80% of people want to write a book and publish it. And only 2% of people ever accomplish that dream. Now, there was a lot of good reason for that in the past. It was almost impossible to get a publisher.
Right.
If you wanted to self-publish, you needed at least $15,000 or $20,000. And then there was no place to sell it. And there were so many obstacles. Those obstacles, so many of them are gone. So now it's just like the obstacles in our head, which are also really, a little bit of a mountain climb, but a doable mountain climb. Because once you know you can really do it, you can use that to get you to the other side. So my mission is to bridge that gap for as many people as I can find, because that's a dream that can come true.
Yeah, most definitely. With that in mind, what are some of these? So first-time authors, what are some of the things that we do wrong if we're trying to do this on our own?
Step number 1, you usually go right to trying to create content. So people will sit at the computer and think, they'll be very inspired in the beginning. So they'll just start writing content. And then all of a sudden they feel lost because they haven't set up a foundation. They haven't set up a structure. They're not exactly sure where they want their life to go. And they get panicked and they start going right into writer's block because they don't have any real structure to put this. Passion and inspiration comes and goes, but so you want to connect to something with a fuel that's a little more long, that can take you further. So I try to encourage people, just get into curiosity mode. Be curious. What if I did this? What if I did that? And then as you're working, boom, it seems that inspiration comes again. So it's kind of like, this is what I like to call my style is like incorporating both the magical and the mundane to get your project going. So we keep interjecting the more magical part of creation with then, all the mundane things you need to do to actually get the project done. And they weave together.
Yeah. I call that the family vacation, or National Lampoon's Family Vacation. You remember that movie? I call that the vacation mode, where they start out, they kind of have a destination in mind, but they just kind of start meandering around, and that people, I've known people, and I've experienced this myself, where you get all inspired and you start, typing away, and then pretty soon you get to the next one and you're like, well, that doesn't really fit there. So then you start losing your momentum, and then it kind of goes down, and then pretty soon you get a little bit reinvigorated, maybe months later, maybe days later, at some point, and then you don't really know where you're going with it. So that kind of loses you lose your momentum if you just kind of dive in and try to do this yourself.
It's a very difficult thing to do by yourself.
Yeah.
In community, I have people, they share things, they share their outline.
Yeah.
I do a one-on-one with everybody. When they get to the point where they've done all their exercises and their outline, their working title, and they've created at least their first chapter, I have a one-on-one with somebody to really say, okay, you're over the hump. Now we've got to just do the dash to what they proverbially call the shitty first draft, made famous by quite a few people, because everybody's first draft is just so bad. But I like to emphasize to people to get over that. because it just is.
For the people that are interested in your course, it's not like a pre-recorded course or something. It's
no, I'm there. I'm there.
You're there.
There may be things that I pre-recorded for people to listen to, but I am there delivering the course, and I'm live for the coaching calls.
Yeah.
And
so they can ask you questions. They can go, I don't really get this part or whatever. You're there for them on that.
Yes. And of course, we also have a Facebook page that I check in every day. So it's very much they get me.
It's not like a drip course that you sign up and,
No, that gets very lonely. That's what I had. And I found it to be I really, honestly, I created this course because the year I wrote my book was one of the most miserable years I had. And that's saying a lot because I was in like 9/11. I was in hurricanes.
Yeah.
And still, that was like really up there on a terrible year. And I'm like, wow, why shouldn't this be fun? I'm creating a book. I'm writing a book. So that's why I don't even call our classes. I call them adventures because
that's so cool.
It's like it should be like an adventure to do something so awesome as this.
Like
you want to bring that kind of energy into it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's an adventure. I might steal that now. There you go.
Like an artist.
So along the way, so they're gonna obviously at some point need an editor, and so what you do, most of us do, we just call up a friend and say, you read books, right? So could you read mine and edit it? Because you're on top of this. Is that the right thing to do?
If you are completely, absolutely broke, maybe. But boy, that's not the optimal thing to do. I did not have very much money. I mean, honestly, I had no money when I went that year with my book. So what I did is I just parceled out expenses. And one of the things I was able to do, and this I have incorporated now in the Birth of Book community because we've gone through so many books. So I have editors, I have cover designers who will give you payment plans, things like that for the community members. That makes life very easy. But what I did, and I encourage people, you don't have to use people in my community. I just do that because I have people, sometimes they're either so busy or they're technologically challenged that I don't want anybody to get stuck there. But if you go on to Upworks, you can bid out your job and you will be shocked. I thought, because I said, I need somebody to edit my book for $500. And I was told it was too little money, but that was all the money I had that I could put to the project. I woke up in the morning and I had 78 people apply for that position.
Wow.
I was really shocked. Now there was tons that were completely not good. So I do go over this in the course about how then, what you're looking for. Well, you're looking for somebody who's edited a book similar than yours. Okay. And then I got it down to 5 or 6 people that had experience. You look at the rating. It's so wonderful. They're rated by prior clients. And what I did is I asked each of these 5 or 6, would you edit just one chapter of my book for $20? They all agreed. I gave the same chapter to all of them, and they sent it back to me. And what an education to see how important it is that you pick the right editor, because it was like a different book almost.
Really?
Yeah, so one guy just about tore every adjective, everything out of the book. I was like, who is this? My voice, my personality was just stripped from it.
Wow.
But another woman sort of made me sound funnier. And I liked that because I had so many dark things to write about, 9/11, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not like a morose kind of person. So I just felt like she sort of connected to that voice. And I just liked so much what she did with that chapter. So that's how I moved forward. And
Wow.
I made an agreement. Could I pay per chapter? I had so little money.
Yeah.
So I would literally pay per chapter. So I would get a bill from Upworks for, $47, $50. And that's how I would just, go along until my book was ready. Then I found this wonderful guy who charged me very little money. I was so technologically challenged at the time, I could barely use my phone. It's so
I think
embarrassing.
most are, though, when you come to uploading books and all of that. I mean, it's a different world than what the rest of us are used to.
But I mean, so I was, like a lot of the people who come to my course, I was far from feeling comfortable to do that. And you can really mess it up, that it looks terrible. So I hired this fellow, and for, $295, he, did the interior layout, and I had hired a different person to do the cover based off of this was really nice because my daughter is an oil painter. So she did this painting for me.
Wow.
But then it scanned in, and then I just got a professional cover designer to do the rest. The photo that I used was just my husband point and shoot with my camera.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, and I share all that. Now, if you're a successful business person, you have access to money, you might, want to use, I'm going to use more experienced people. I'll probably get a photographer to do a new headshot, things like that. I will upgrade because I can afford it. But, it's just never been a more democratic time to find people in your price point.
Yeah.
So how I keep costs down within the community is I have editors. A lot of them are just young, starting out. So I have a woman who's in Brown University, is an amazing editor. She's the editor of the newspaper there. She loves editing books. She's lightning fast. So I'm getting books fully edited for, it depends on a lot of things. If she has to do a lot of rewriting, it's a little more than just a quick line edit. But, for $800-900, she's really making a book shine so that it's beautifully written and very critical.
For us common people that don't really know what an editor does per se, so will they rewrite the book? Will they just
So there's different editors.
Yep.
So if
walk us through what those are.
Okay. So if you are a traditional publishing company, and I like to tell people, you are still being published by a publishing company. It just so happens you're the publishing company. So you have to make sure if you want a professional book, all of these things are done. So one type of editor is what we call a holistic editor. They read the book and they say, does this make sense? Is this following? Is this chapter leading into this chapter? Is this a cohesive book that's going to keep the pages turning, which is a big thing in these days when people have attention spans of tsetse flies. So that's an important person. And I do that outside of the course. If you wanted to hire me as a holistic editor, I would do that for people. But the course itself will put you so much further. You're learning how to create your book as a holistic editor would teach you. So it's not a place where anybody should have to spend a lot of money. The second type of editor is what I call a line editor. Now, what we try to use is an aggressive line editor. An aggressive, a light touch line editor is just going to make sure are all your sentences flowing, are your chapters flowing. They may do quite a few suggestions for rewrites, but their job is to just really make sure that it's flowing, the grammar's all correct, you're not going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And when they're a little more aggressive, they might say, may I suggest that chapter 2 be chapter 7, or chapter 5 is really not working. Maybe you might be better off taking that out of the book. Or, hey, I have a question about what you wrote here. It's not making sense to me. If you'll explain it to me, I can suggest how to write it more powerfully. So that's where I recommend most people to go, to try to get a line editor that's a little more aggressive than in a professional publishing company. And then the last is a proofreader. And I think most people can do some proofreading. That's where maybe it's a good idea to just have some friends. I had my family members are all, pretty bright, and I just had everybody, pick the book and do some proofreads. And this is a secret. Amazon will let you get a proof copy of your book. It's amazing how you could look at the book 100 times on screen, but for some reason, humans are much better at finding typos and errors once they have the book in their hand. So I recommend people to get that proof, and that proof can do a lot of other things. If you want to get reviews from top influencers, if you want to submit your book for awards or pay for professional reviews, you can get those proofs, send them out before you actually press the publish button. So that's another little tip.
Nice. So in all, it's a how many week course?
So I'm a little unclear about that because the first class, I did 2 classes a week, and I felt that was way too much. People were getting confused. So now I'm doing the course 1 day a week for 8 consecutive weeks. And that's when we go over all the content. You're not going to be finished with your book in 8 weeks.
No.
You're just only going to understand everything you need to do and have set your foundation to start creating your content and your first draft. So then I'm moving them into what I'm calling, it's going to be unstructured. So twice a month, people are going to be able to come on a call with me via Zoom. I'm not going to be lecturing. I'm just going to say, ask me anything. And I'm going to, whatever people ask, I'm going to answer. So even if you don't have a question, you'll learn from answers from other people.
Yeah.
All in all, I want to make sure that they are with me for 6 months. So the thing that I'm not clear about is, am I going to meet them once a week? Am I going to make it longer for them by making it every other week? So that's just a detail that I'm seeing. What I'm trying to figure out is I just want to make sure everybody gets to the finish line.
Yeah. Because everybody's got a book inside them. Like you said, 80% of the people out there have a book inside them, and 2% actually fulfill that dream.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
That is. So that means 78% of us will die with our dream inside.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Dreams
and in this day and age,
true.
like you said before, it used to be the old traditional way. If you go back 20 years, the old traditional way was there was a group of publishers out there, publishing houses that are out there, and you had to write up this whole pitch to them, and which could be the size of what most of our books are going to be.
Yes.
And then you had to pitch to them, and they're still out there. If you want to do that, you can certainly pitch it to publishers and that to do that. But in this day and age, with Amazon the way it is, I mean, it's really, and there's a few other ones besides Amazon, but Amazon's probably the big one in the world. And what's that?
They're the 800-pound gorilla.
They are. And you can easily do this, and now we can make that 78 or that 2% grow. grow into that. Let's get it down to 50% at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or really, I don't know, if you have a dream to write a book, you can do it. You can just do it. And
Yeah.
I like to feel that, I also I try to all through to keep people inspired.
Yeah.
To get through. Because it is there's a reason why people are really impressed when you write a book, because it's not that easy.
Yeah. No, it's and you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And I have great respect for those that do.
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting when you accomplish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, it is kind of fun to bump into people after you publish a book. One of my cousins I bumped into in a supermarket. I hadn't seen her in so many years. And truth be told, she knew my family went through a lot of hard times. And it was so wonderful to be able to share that I had done something that was so exciting. And she was screaming. She was so excited. You're a published author. Oh my God. It was almost embarrassing. I was like, okay, cool, go ahead. I was like in the supermarket. But I have to admit, I left feeling so good because she was really excited. And she was, I'm going to buy it the second I go home. I'm going to review it.
And you're like, wait, let's just get on Amazon right now. You can do this. We'll do it before you leave. I want to make sure I get my residuals from it. Yeah, my royalties. Oh, that's classic. For those, if I didn't mention, I've been popping it up on the screen in that too. BirthaBookCoach.com is where they go. I stuck up I put on the free one. There's an email that you can send. You don't have to just go right to the course and sign up for that. But there's an email that they can sign up for, right?
Yes. So there's a free mini course that I'm going to be releasing in a couple of weeks. So if you want to wait to sign up, you'll just get the free mini course, or just get the free mini course anyway. It's really kind of fun and different, and it gives you a whole synopsis. But I'm doing this special for Dave because he's so awesome, and we just feel like we're kindred spirits. And he told me about what a great community he has. I am going right now. I have left the course at the price of the initial course, and that's $9.95, and you can even do a 3-payment plan, so it's very democratic. I like to keep things in the range that I could have afforded when I had to make that big transition to reinvent myself. Because so many of my friends are getting, because they can get the money, they're doing $5,000, $10,000. And that just really leaves a lot of people out. So, I want to always have an offering for people, an entry-level offering that's within reach to everybody. So I think, Dave, Dorothy, your personal... Oh, Laura, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Dorothy, your personal story inspired me to write and publish my book. I really benefited from your support. Yeah, that's Laura. Yeah.
Great.
Got another thumbs up here too. Joy says thumbs up.
Thank you, Joy.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Yes, so $9.95. I have my course that's starting on the 3rd of September. We're gonna I twisted your arm to leave the price at that. So otherwise, if you go on and join the course, and either way, I'm gonna say at $14.95, it's an awesome price too. I mean, you're getting 6 months of really hand holding. I mean, because you're accessible to them. It's not like these courses where they just kind of throw you out there.
My coaches are saying, Dorothy, this is you got to raise this price. And at some point I may have to, but at this point, I'm just really excited to get as many people through as I can.
Yeah. So as part, and I'll be pushing it out with in my propaganda that they can then come on and they can order your course through there. And I'm not getting any affiliate link or anything, but it's just that it's going to be available to them for $9.95. So if you're thinking about writing a book at all, sign up right now, because then otherwise you're going to be paying about another $500 if you wait.
Yeah.
So you'll only have till August 30th to do this. I twisted your arm on that too. You're like, I'll give them a day. I'm like, could you give them to the 30th? And you're like, oh, Dave. So,
well, it was my birthday. August 30th is my birthday. It's like, how could you say no?
Yeah. So it's going to be a big birthday present for you, hopefully, right? So we're going to get, so you can come on there. $9.95. If they order right away, you can split up into some payments and that too. Then that's the cool thing about that. You're awesome.
Even if you don't want to go there, there's that other link. Because that's a landing page that won't take them to the rest of the website. So there's another link. Yeah, that takes you to the rest of the website. Okay, cool. Oh.
I'll get the other one on here too. So that, and I've been popping that one up throughout our whole conversation. I've been putting that up throughout. Great. Yep. So there's the one for the free mini email course. And I'll put these links in the comment section below for the replay for the people, so they can just click through on that. That'll be a lot faster for them. But this has been great. As we kind of sum this all up, otherwise they can go to just berthabookcoach.com.
Yeah, and there'll be like a little pop-up,
and you can and search through
guide, and I have lead magnets there.
Yeah, and it's a great website, so it's not hard to go through and find things. It's really, you make it really easily for them to find it.
I do retreats too, which is really fun.
Yeah,
really fun. I just came back from one, and like in 5 days, I was able to accomplish, it takes me months sometimes with people, because I also got to like health coach them. So we only ate all organic food and did yoga every morning and meditation. And we were in the mountains with the clean air. And oh God, it was so fun.
How invigorating, how inspiring.
Yeah.
And how often do you do the retreats?
Well, that is Bertha Book in Bethlehem, which is hilarious. I can't believe I love alliteration.
I love it.
The whole Bethlehem concept of Bertha is great. I do that every July, and it's in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And it coincides with the Robert Frost Poetry Conference.
Oh.
That's so cool. We go up there, and it's candlelight, and there's all these amazing poets from around the country reciting poetry. It's so beautiful.
Nice.
So I've actually opened enrollment for that for next year, and I think that's going to sell out. So if you're the type of person who likes to plan in advance, then that's a great opportunity too. Yeah. But I'm thinking of doing one in LA. I haven't quite sorted out the details, but I thought that I might have somebody come who can talk about how you can convert a book into a screenplay.
Oh.
On retreat, 2 of the women were writing books that they hoped would then translate into screenplays. And I honestly didn't really know all the little tricks, but I've since researched it. And I thought, why not write a book that could potentially be a screenplay? Because most screenplays start off as books.
Smart. Yeah. Most definitely.
It would be fun to do that in LA with sunglasses.
Very, very appropriate. Yeah, you'll have to glam up a little bit more though. LA.
Little different. Bad air. But we'll still do healthy food.
That's right. You'll have to drink some of that wheatgrass and those shots.
There you go. Just have to ramp it up in another way.
That's right. Well, Lori has another. Let's see here. I'll lower that down a little bit there too. I want to share my life story about overcoming cerebral palsy. Yeah, and accomplish my life dreams. Thank you. I'm doing it now with your help. I just became a dating coach. There you go.
Awesome.
Way to go.
great, Laura.
That's perfect. Well, as we sum this all up, any parting words?
Well, just, I've seen it over and over with people. I had a woman who was a hairdresser with this seemed crazy dream that she wanted to become, a health coach, a vegan chef for spiritual communities. It seemed like such a stretch. She wrote her book, and guess what she is now? She's a vegan chef for the Tibetan Museum and 3 other monasteries, and she's so happy. That's exactly what she wanted, and spiritual retreats. So, I had a woman who came in. She was a nurse, Linda Palladino. She's a woman health expert, a midwife, a person who had just so much to give, but she had this idea that she wanted to write this whole huge women's health book and kept getting stuck. So I suggested, well, why don't you write one book that's more niche, that really lights you up? So she wrote a book called It Shouldn't Hurt to Nurse Your Baby, because that was a really important thing to her, that a lot of children don't get nursed because of issues that could easily be solved with the correct advice. So it's just a 120 some odd page book, very specific. With that book, she's getting invited to conferences all over the country. Hospitals are giving it away to women who have just given birth, and her whole profile has shifted. She's in so much bigger service than she was in her tiny little local practice. So you don't know exactly the outcome, but you can pretty much guarantee that things are going to shake up. Things are going to, you're going to be of bigger service.
That's pretty cool. Laura wants, and your course, Laura says, when will your course begin? Mine starts September 3rd. Yours is?
It's going to start September 25th, the end of September. It may start the first week in October.
There you go.
But it will start. It's the fall version.
Yeah. Sounds very good. Thank you, Dorothy, for joining us.
What is your course, Dave, if you don't mind? I'm so curious.
My course is 60 Days to Success. And mine has a whole bunch of people involved in it. So I have Sinai Floyd, who is a niche expert. You get one on each person in the group gets 90 minutes with her. I have Michael Klein, who is a RIM expert, and you get a one-on-one with each person gets a one-on-one with him. And RIM, it really releases all the things that hold you back. So any experiences that you find that holds you back, that you get this anxiousness, or you get this, that hold you back from fulfilling that goal, he helps you work that out. And then we have another there's just so many. I got like 5 experts that are going to be involved in this, and they're all doing one-on-one with people, prepping them, and then I take them through getting them live on Facebook, doing interviews, and getting all that aspect in there.
Well, wow. Anybody taking that's going to be ready for a book.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why I want you as a part of this too, because I think you're great, and we can, and then the book is another aspect to it. So thank you for leaving that discount for the members.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was such a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. All right. And everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow for another great interview at 11 o'clock Central Time.
Great.
Bye.
Bye-bye.